Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you had any cool on-set or backstage stories or anything from over the years that came to mind. Like, holy shit, that, wait a minute, that was pretty cool.
Where do I start? My two best stories. Well, okay. So I did a movie with Al Pacino called Insomnia, and I have two big scenes with him. He picks me up from my friend's funeral, and he drives me to the garbage dump where the body is found, and then he screams at me, and I give him a piece of information. And we shot it in two separate bits. We shot the part where he screams at me on the beach first. And I'm like, he doesn't like just hang out, Al Pacino. Like, they roll down, he's like, and then his car comes and drops him off, and he gets out and he screams at you, and I'm like crying, he's screaming, I'm crying, he's screaming, and then he just leaves. I'm like, what? And I got food poisoning from eating scallops in the Super 8 motel in Squamish. The night before, and like, Al doesn't wait for anybody, and I'm literally like in my room, nervous, obviously, barfing my guts out. And they're like, Al's ready, Katie. I'm like, yeah, okay. It was just awful. And then the next day we were doing this car scene, and we're on a tow rig. We're being towed up and down this road in Squamish. And I'm completely terrified of Al Pacino at this point because he hasn't said anything to me. I've heard all these stories. He's Al Pacino, and I'm like, okay. And so we're trapped in this car, and it's just me and him. Like, it's just me and Al Pacino on a road trip for 8 hours. And every once in a while, Chris Nolan will come over and be like, smoke your cigarettes slower. And so I'm sitting there completely scared out of my mind, chain smoking unfiltered American Spirit cigarettes, because that's what my character has, with all the windows rolled up. So I'm like, ugh. And I'm saying, Mr. Pacino, I thought this was a safe question, because I'm an idiot. Mr. Pacino, I heard you just had twins. That's so nice. Congratulations. And what did you name them? And he looks at me and goes, Al and Al, after me. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst 8 hours of my life. And I like legit almost started to cry because I was just like so like hopped up on nicotine and terror. And he goes, oh God, I'm just kidding. Anthony and Olivia. And I was like, whoa, what? Oh my God, you're nice? He's like, yeah. And he started talking to me about theater and how I should do this and that and how great he thinks I am. I'm like, okay, wonderful. And he's like, you know, I'm stuck in Vancouver, I can't really do anything. I really like to play poker. You play poker? And I'm totally lying. And I'm like, yes, of course I can play poker. I play poker with teenagers all the time since I was like 7. And he's like, great, well, you know, if I set up a poker game, will you come? You know, I can't go out at night. It's Al Pacino, I can't go anywhere. I'm like, oh yeah, totally awesome. He's super fun. We're like besties. I'm like never thinking that that would ever happen in a million years. And then like a week later, I get this phone call. Hi, you've been invited to Al Pacino's poker game. The Penthouse in the Four Seasons. And I'm like, oh God. Oh, he set up a poker game because I lied to Scarface. And now he's calling me in to prove it and then have me whacked after. I'm terrible. And I call the office. I say, how many people are going to be at this freaking poker game? And she's like, oh, 20 or so. So I'm like, okay. I can just show up, have a drink, say thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me. And then like escape. Show up. Al Pacino. 6 producers from LA and me. And I'm like, I'm here, he's there, down the street, and there's people, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I wore a visor, because I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No big deal. And $50 Canadian, because I really didn't think this was going to happen. And they've got like the whole metal suitcase, snap chips, and I'm like, and I tried to call people, no one was around, no one told me how. This is before like, you know, online poker was a big thing. And I'm legit, and he goes, okay, I'm like, okay, you know, poker, it's like a full house or, I don't know, a royal flush or something, I'm thinking in my head. And one of the producers goes, so we're playing straight poker? And he goes, no, we're playing Texas Hold'em. And I'm like, well, I've never heard that before. And the producer goes, I don't know how to play that. And so I was explaining him the game and talking to me, being like, right? That's how you do it, right? I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. All the time, no big deal. I sat down and I legit won the first hand I played. It was like, I literally had like 4 aces or something completely ridiculous. And I ended up winning like 260 American, reaching over the table, taking chips away from Al Pacino. And at the end of the game, I fessed up that I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't believe me. And then I got in the car with my friends. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what just happened. Anyway, that's my best story. This other time I really hit Halle Berry really hard. That's the other one.
Well, please.
Well, okay, fine. Oh, Ken Kersinger. This Ken Kersinger played Jason in Fright vs. Jason. He was a stunt coordinator on this movie, Frankie and Alice, that Halle Berry was in. And I played, it's like in the 70s, and I've got this giant blonde wig and this big poofy polyester wedding gown on. And we're like 500 extras in this big ballroom, and it's my wedding, and she's supposed to show up, and I'm supposed to get mad, like out of nowhere, and just like hit her. And so we do all my coverage first, and I like, you know, fake stop her, and it's all fine, it's all wonderful, it's really nice, she's super pretty, she's like looking at the sun, like you can't really look at her, it like blinds you. And she's really nice, and it's all fine. And then Ken Kersinger is the stunt coordinator, who's Jason, comes up and goes, okay, so we're gonna turn around on Hallie's coverage, and she wants you to really hit her. Like, what? Yeah, you know when you like get hit out of nowhere? And I'm like, well, no. Nowhere, but yes, I understand what you're saying. It's like it's an immediate physical reaction, so she wants you to hit her. And I was like, okay. So Ken's like, practice on me, and Ken is huge, his head's like this big, and I'm like, and he's like, no, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, oh, whatever, just get out there, you can do it. I was like, okay, fine. And Hallie goes, I know, I could do this, but I was like, yeah, and he's like, gouge your eye out or something, like, whatever. She goes, just do it once, and just, you know, and then we don't have to do it again. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, great. And the scene happens, and I go, she goes, yeah, it's not gonna work. I goes, okay, I'll do it better, yeah. And the second time, when I'm getting my heart rate's going, I'm starting to sweat, and I'm like, everyone's looking at me, I'm feeling the pressure. And the second time, I kind of missed her, and I have an old camera guy I've known forever. He goes, Katie, fucking do it. Copy that, Richard. And he goes, are you gonna just push in a little bit? And I was like, yeah, okay. He goes, okay, go. He went, boom! Like, just nailed her. And her head snaps, and she comes back, and she's got like instant tears. There's like a red handprint on her face. My hand, I had to put my hand on ice. And then the rest of the scene happens. She gets dragged out by security, and we cut, and I'm like, oh my God! I run up there, I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, tears, handwork, welcome. She goes, no, that was perfect. I was like, if you get an Oscar nomination for that scene, by the way, I'll let you go. That's it. That's literally it. Those are my only stories.
Who's up next?
That's it. I killed them.
Wow. I have plenty. You've got a huge resume already. Other than your, you know, maybe Ginger Snaps is one of your favorites. What would be your favorite one?
I'm partial to American Mary. Girls. Turning Page is one that probably not very many people have seen.
Is that movie going to ever make it to DVD? Do you know?
I'm the last one to know anything about anything.
I called those guys and they said, yeah,
There's been like quite the internet push to try to petition them, and I mean, they're like what? So like 9 people will buy it. No, it's not good for us. Go away.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. It plays on like in CBC at like 7 in the morning, like once every 3 years. I'm like, okay.
I actually know Jason Long, one of the writers on it.
Yeah.
I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Give me a tweet. It's my part with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to distribute it on DVD.
No.
You can get little
But
copies.
maybe-
You can sneak copies here and there.
Do you yourself have a copy? Did they at least give you a copy?
I do have a copy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it'll come to the internet in some way.
Yeah.